the 9th of June, 2026, Tuesday morning, Mars. We're going to continue from yesterday. The day before that, we did the 24 condition causality on Paṭṭhāna in the Abhidhamma Piṭaka. And today yesterday we did English translation. Today we're gonna describe it, and it's the summary of the Paṭṭhāna condition, but it is a lengthy analysis. We're going to start off with homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the perfectly self-awakening One. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the perfectly self-awakening One. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the perfectly self-awakening One. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Now, this is the summary of the Paṭṭhāna conditions, and it is from the Abhidhamma Piṭaka. The Paṭṭhāna traditionally are regarded as the quintessence of the Buddha's dispensation or wisdom, as the surest proof of its omniscience or omniscience. It is a system which is in mathematical order, seeks to explain the comprehension of matter, mind, and the consciousness delineated in the main page here to cover the entire of existence. Now, this is chanted during funerals for individuals that have reached the age of expectancy, age individuals that have lived a full life here on earth. In total, there are 24 Paṭṭhāna conditions, and these may perhaps be the thought of the patterns in the phenomenon realities. That is, in the material and mental things, but as the phenomenon realities are, so to say, the objects of a concentrator or a meditator who seeks to gain insight in them, in which the Paṭṭhāna may be equally viewed as the grammar of insight. Thus, Paṭṭhāna is a system which is seeking to reduce the infinite variety of phenomenon or the infinite amount of life experiences to a finite amount of universal realities which follow 24 possible modes or ways of relating to each other in causal relationships of causes and conditions. Sometimes the Paṭṭhāna is also called the system of synthesis of the Abhidhamma. That is, a synthesizing the basic ideas of what matter, mind, and consciousness are into the ideas of growing complexity. And it is doing that by applying 24 conditions to them in quite the same manner as one would apply mathematical operations to plus, minus, divisions, and multiplications to the numbers 0 through 9 in mathematics. Consequently, in such operations in mathematics allow for our infinitely larger use for those numbers. So do Paṭṭhāna conditions allow for the infinitely larger use for the understanding of the mind, matter, and consciousness. And it's thus that the Paṭṭhāna aims to providing the means for comprehending the entirety of existence. How is this done will be seen here. Now, as we list off, 1 would be the inner establishment, 2 is objects, the 3rd is governance, 4th is combination, 5 is the sequence, 6 is synchronicity, 7 is correspondence, 8 is foundation, 9 is interdependence, 10 is latency, 11 is manifestation. 12 is repetition. 13 is karma. 14 is result. 15 is the fuel. 16 is faculties. 17 is jhana, which is concentration, absorption. 18 is magga, the paths. 19 is attraction. 20 is repulsion. 21 is the presence. 22, absence. 23, dissolution. And 24, retention. Now it looks from the plane of existence from the conscious awareness, and then it goes to mind, and then matter, which the middle would be the spoke. In this term is called, they have it here as nibbana, nirvana. As the concentrator or meditator seeks to understand that everything is grounded in his own reality, therefore his understanding of everything will always start with an observation of matter, mind, and consciousness. These are his computer hardware and computer software, and with these, he will learn to measure and calculate everything. Now, from this explanation, from this perspective on this site, the Paṭṭhāna conditions are usually treated first with the consideration of the four elements and then in relation to body and mind processes. Thus, anyone who has gained some understanding of the four elements will have some further concentration come into the position to gain some comprehension of each of the Paṭṭhāna conditions. Furthermore, will give the treatment of the Paṭṭhāna conditions in relation to bodily and mental processes. The more advanced concentrator or meditator, the ability, the exceedingly extent his comprehensions of these are. The elements of nibbana, nirvana, is the goal and direction towards which the contemplation should be directed. In most of the Paṭṭhāna conditions, it is represented by their practical relevance for the aim of deliverance from bondage, attachment. To comprehend the Paṭṭhāna conditions, there are two primary ways of asking for the appropriate question. Either, as an example, one may ask, what is the condition of mind, matter, and consciousness in the state of jhana, absorption, concentration, condition? Or, in the relation to karma, the state of action or law of causality, what is the condition of mind, matter, and consciousness in the state of the karma condition? Or, in the condition of latency, etc. Or reflecting on some other present condition of the mind and matter, one may ask, how does this mind state or physical condition relate to successful concentration, meditation, jhana paccaya, or to the establishment of character, hetu paccaya? Or is it pointing to nibbana, magga paccaya, etc.? This will be the primary method for both attaining the deeper philosophical knowledge of existence, as well as for understanding on how in regards to one's higher aspirations. The above graphic here shows, the one I just read off, between 1 to 24, it shows how each of the three phenomenon categories, mind, matter, and consciousness, converge into one of the Paṭṭhāna conditions elucidated in the next chapter. Now here, these broken lines leading from nibbana indicate that such convergence may or may not be informed by the understanding of nibbana, and that it may or may not lead towards it. Take the example. Any ordinary life situation in the convergence of matter, consciousness, and mental factors under the conditions of presence If understood with wisdom, this situation may lead towards nibbana, nirvana. A situation involving the deliberate generation of new karma is the convergence of consciousness, mental factors, or of the mind and matter in the conditions of the action of karma. A condition which too may lead in the direction of nibbana, nirvana, if performed with right intention and skill, and that the same principle applies to all other conditions. The explanation will be given below are only certain examples of my own understanding to give to those who study the Abhidhamma system some indicate of how to think about these Paṭṭhāna conditions. I'm still working on them, so several will be quite imperfect, and I will try to fix it with time. Now, after this, I will reference what I'm reading from, and I'll give the website and so forth. And if you guys want to take a look further and investigate, I highly suggest you guys do so. Now, the condition of latency manifestation, puricata, paccaya jata. The condition wherein things, material or immaterial, exist rather as a potential without actually being manifest is what is called the condition of latency. It is the condition of mental or material phenomenon existing in the germ form. The term puricca literally means pre-non-essence, while anything that already is in existence exists in the condition already. A combination is coming together in various elements, material and immaterial, form a new whole. In fact, the whole universe is but a combination of elements, dhatu. But to start small, comprehending this condition is like child play simplicity. We seek to understand the first matter of the four elements. Thus we may observe how. Anna, mana, paccaya, condition of correspondence. Wherever two or more phenomenon possess similar characteristics, a correspondence between these two phenomena can be seen. Whatever is known about one of them may also hold true for the other. That is, any point of contact between these two known may permit a certain exploration of things unknown for him who comprehends this. Upanisaya paccaya. Upanisaya paccaya. Conditions of interdependence. No phenomenon in a single isolated unit. All things are in some way interrelated. As being thus the condition of one things usually depend on the conditions of various other things. Using the consideration of the four elements, again as a basis, we may gain the first grasp of the fundamental nature of this condition. Whenever one phenomenon, by virtue of its own qualities, pulls another phenomenon towards itself, it is called attraction. On that conceivable scales of life, there can be found this condition of attraction. Matter from the tiniest of particles to the matters of the whole universe is kept together through the condition of attraction. Kamma paccaya, vipaka paccaya, conditions of intentional actions and the results. Kamma, as a Paṭṭhāna condition, refers to the conditions wherein actions, but more specifically mental acts of will or intentions, are acting as a cause to produce some particular result, mental or material, in the future, whereas the conditions of vipaka refers to the results of past actions and intentions, either in a form of. Magga paccaya, conditions of paths. When consciousness processing is a point in a defined direction in that mind, choices become more consistent. Consciousness gets established on a certain path. Yet this path condition refers not only to the past brought about through choice, but to any path brought about through choice or brought about through circumstances, spiritual, worldly, good, or evil. The present condition, or the condition of being, is referring to the existence of mental and material phenomenon in the limited space of now, while the condition of the absence is referred to the opposite. That is, the non-existence of mental and material phenomenon in the limited space of now, a question about being. Asevana pachaya, condition of repetition. The term asevana means both repetition and practice. Repetition is what establishes, makes strong, and develops, both in regard to mind and matter, in its own boundaries. Whenever it is that it is repeated, becomes gradually easier with each repetition, starting small, beginning again with the consideration of the four elements we may acquire. Jhana pachaya, condition of concentration, meditation, absorption. The condition of absorption, concentration, is the condition wherein the mind seeks an escape from matter. Concentration is about finding the middle path. And this applies also to the four familiar consideration of the four elements. Each of the four elements has its own distinctive qualities, some of which are seeked to be overcome through concentration. Vikata pachaya, condition of dissolution and destruction. All phenomenon, sooner or later, come to the condition of fading, dying, disappearance. And becoming thus, they are instances of this condition. This condition may perhaps equally be translated as going asunder, falling apart, moving towards excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. I am currently under the weather. Pardon me. This condition may perhaps equally be translated as going asunder, falling apart, moving towards destruction. Or the familiar Buddhist favorite, impermanence, anicca. Old age, sickness and death, loss of property, loss of relatives, etc. Ahara pachaya, condition for fuel and nutriment. Nutriment or fuel condition refers to the way in which the particular physical thing or mental state or the process is supported in future growth. Most people had had some experience of these conditions when their mind was running wild due to having much fuel from such senses. Traditionally, there are four kinds, expressed in matters of the four elements in the sequence conditions, being forward movement primarily as an aspect of the wind element. But being a forward moving along definite lines, it may be thought as the wind element guided by the earth element, yet linking all the elements in relation to this condition. Sampayutta pachaya describes the conjoining ability of mental and material phenomenon, that is, the capacity to form a sympathetic relationship or new whole synthesis. There are definite laws as to what kinds of things can exist in conjoined relationship and what can't. And as for the example, when the material substance of milk mixed with water. Avikata pachaya, condition of retentions or lastingness. As the great oceans retain their waters without diminishing, or large civilizations and empires often continue for long periods of time, so do phenomena of all scales and all times continue, retaining their primary qualities for long periods of time. Amongst the four elements in the abstract sense is the element of earth, the element of fire, the element of air, and the element of water, so forth. Sahajata pachaya, condition of synchronicity. Whenever two or more phenomena become attuned to each other, they temporarily become more than singular, separate phenomena. It may at the time function almost as one. When we relate synchronicity as the four elements, we can find only a rather simplistic dynamic of that passive element, being receptive to the active of nature. Ati pati pachaya, condition of reigning, governing. Ati pati pachaya, reigning or governing condition, describes the condition of one thing that is either an outer object or a condition, or internal mental factors such as desire, exertion, investigation, or thought governing a person's consciousness. For the most part, this condition is concerned with conditions of the human scale. Thus, there are 5 ruling principles. Indriya pachaya, condition of faculties. Faculties refer to the various capacities and powers of a person of more accurate mental or material phenomenon may possesses. Through the past intentions to do, to see, to hear, to feel, and to think, etc., a being acquires certain material as well as mental faculties, some of which are designed for the knowing and comprehension of the world. Hetu pachaya, condition of the inter-establishment. Hetu pachaya, often translated as a root condition, is to describe the condition of the inner establishment of mental or material phenomenon. There is a twofold classification of roots or inner establishment. The first one is along the lines of capabilities. The second one is along the line of wholesome and unwholesome. Wholesomeness. The first root is all forces have their counterparts. The reverse of the previous conditions, this condition describes and why mental and material phenomena repel other mental and material phenomena. Antagonisms, conflicts, wars, hatred, fear, and even disease are examples of the conditions of repulsion. But why are there conflicts? Why are there wars? And so forth. Aramana. Arnamara, usually translated as objects, may or more accurately be thought as support of the mind and senses. Thus, this condition is describing any relation between the mind and matter, as in the case of sense-based matter. As the supporting object, any consideration, whereas my house, my country, my friends, my relatives, my property, etc. In life, all things build up on some foundation. Everything somewhat stands on something. This is what defines the condition, aramana. In matters of the 4 elements, this condition is symbolically represented by the element of earth. But in more concrete terms, at least 3 of the elements may be seen as an act. By learning and to comprehend the relationship of given classification of mind and matter, a person may then slowly come into the position to realize the laws governing the entirety of phenomenon existence. And those will be the niyamas of the Buddhist system. Distinguishes there's 5 niyamas, which we will talk about in scope later. Now, this is interesting. There's also a YouTube talking about this for practical application of the Paṭṭhāna conditions. And it's from Bhikkhu Dhamma Ananta. As I said earlier, I will cite, I'll put the website in the description below if you guys want to check it out. Arahang Sama Samputo Pakawa Putang Pakawantang Apiwatimi Sawakato Pakawata Damo Dhammang Namasami Supadipano Pakawato Sawakasanko Sankang Namami. So we just covered the 24 conditions, and it's relations, Paṭṭhāna, and it is the core of the Paṭṭhāna from one of the three baskets from the Abhidhamma Piṭaka. It shows how the mind and the matter interact, and nothing exists alone. Everything depends on something else to arise and stay alive. Now, there's examples that goes further. If we're going to take hetu Paṭṭhāna, the root condition, how it works is it's like a root. It helps the tree grow. Certain roots drive our minds. The roots of greed, anger, ignorance lead to bad choices, while the roots of generosity, kindness, and wisdom lead to good choices. We have aramana Paṭṭhāna, object condition. How this works is an object pulls the mind towards it, like a stick guides a blind person. The example of this is seeing a beautiful flower, and it makes us feel this sukha, or happiness, the sense of happiness in ourselves. Ati pati Paṭṭhāna, dominance condition. How this works is one powerful factor takes control of the mind to achieve its goal. Desire, energy, mind, or investigation. These are the four leaders. A strong desire to pass an exam will make you study all night. That's another example. Anantaraya Paṭṭhāna, proximity condition. How this works is one thought must stop completely before the next thought can start. The moment you hear a sound ends right before you understand what it is. That's the example. The fifth one is Samanantara Paṭṭhāna. How this works is this is the same as proximity. There is zero time gap between the thoughts. Number 6 is Sahajata Paṭṭhāna, co-nonsense conditions. How this works is two or more things light up at the exact same time, like a lamp and its light, or they're just mirroring each other. This example is a feeling. A thought arises together in the mind. So the feeling and the thought arises simultaneously in the mind. Anna manna Paṭṭhāna, mutuality condition. How this works is two things help each other, like three sticks leaning together to stand up. The example is your body and your mind need each other to stay alive. The 8th is Nisaya Paṭṭhāna. How this works is one thing acts as a base for another, like the earth supports trees. The example is the eye supports the power of sight. Number 9 is Upanisaya Paṭṭhāna. How this works, a very powerful past cause effect strongly forces a future results. For example, growing up in a good environment leads to healthy habits later. Number 10, Purijata Paṭṭhāna. Something that already exists serves as the basis for something new. The example here is the physical eye must exist before you can see a flash of light. Number 11, Paccajata Paṭṭhāna. How this works is a new thing helps protect and maintain something that came before it. The example here is food you eat now keeps you older, the older body alive and healthy. Number 12, Asevana Paṭṭhāna, repetition condition. How this works is doing something over and over makes the action stronger, like practicing a skill. The example here is studying every day makes your memory sharper. 13, Kamma Paṭṭhāna, the karma condition. How this works is an intentional action creates a specific energy or results. Example is giving food to the hungry creates good karma or good causes for the conditions to arise. Number 14, vipaka pachaya, result conditions. How this works is the quiet, peaceful ripening of past actions, karma. Example is tasting delicious foods is the results of past good karma. 15, ahara pachaya, nutriment condition. How it works is things that sustain life, both physical food and mental input. Examples are bread sustains the body while information feeds the mind. Number 16, indriya pachaya, faculty conditions. How it works is the controller that rule over their own areas. The example of here is the eye rules over sight, while mindfulness rules over attention. 17, jhana pachaya, jhana condition. How this works is mental factors that link the mind closely to an object. Example is deep focus quietens or quickens the wandering mind. It keeps its focus, its attention. Number 18, magga pachaya, path condition. How it works is factors that lead you toward the specific destination, good or bad. The example here is samadhi, right view, leads a person towards peace and escape from dukkha, suffering. Number 19, sampayutta pachaya, association condition. How it works is mental parts that mix completely together like milk and water. The example here is vedana and sanya, feeling and perception come together in one single thought. Number 20, vipakayutta pachaya, dissolution condition. How it works is things that help each other but remain totally separate, like water on a lotus leaf. The example here is the mind relies on physical brain, but the mind is not physical. Number 21, ati pachaya, present condition. How it works is something must be actively present right now to help something else. The example here is the light must be present for you to read these words. Number 22, nati pachaya, absent conditions. How it works is something must disappear so something else can take its place. The night must disappear for the morning sun to arise or to rise. Number 23, vikata pachaya, disappearance conditions. How it works is this is identical to the absent condition. The departure of one thing allows the next things to come. And finally, the 24th, vikata pachaya, non-disappearance condition. How this works is this is identical to the present condition. Something cannot vanish if it is currently supporting another thing. Those are the 24 conditions of existence. Causality, or relationships. This is the core Paṭṭhāna from the 24 conditions with everyday examples.